The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. We have, I believe, on the line, Peter Leides. Peter, are you there?
I'm here, Larry.
Hey, it's good hearing your voice, buddy. Between the two of us, I think we got about 132 years of experience. Anyway, tell the folks what you're looking at here, if you would, please.
You're showing off again, Larry. You're showing off again.
Yeah. No, I'm still above ground, buddy, on the green side of the grass. I'm proud of that.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
What are you looking at? A year ago at this time, I was in the old Princess Bride movie, they had an expression. She said, "Well, how is he doing?" They said, "He's mostly dead." I was seriously
I know.
Dead a year ago. So I'm very, very blessed to be where we are today.
You sure are. Eddie told me how close you came to the end, and I'm really glad you made it through. Did you get through the fires okay up there in Santa Rosa? Was that a problem for you?
Yeah, I'm not in Santa Rosa anymore, by the way. I live in Dunlap, California, but we had some pretty good fires of our own here. We got evacuated a couple of years ago with a fire, so.
Okay, where is Dunlap? Is that up by the Calistoga Springs or something, or where?
No, it's up by the national park, Sequoia National Park, the largest trees in the world.
Oh, yeah, it's lovely up there, yeah.
Kings Canyon National Park, yeah, it's a great area.
Well, that's good. Well, what are you seeing in the market, my friend?
Well, I've been a bear for quite a while, and as of yesterday, I turned at least short-term bullish. I've been calling for a low this week as soon as we got into my projection areas, and we've done that over the past 2, 3, 4 days to the downside, and so I'm at least short term, whether it's a few weeks or a few months, I don't know. I'm currently on the positive side of the market.
Okay, that's pretty good. Now, I know you have been extremely bearish up until yesterday, and of course, anybody that's followed you on your YouTube, you had those numbers. I mean, my goodness, I think you were within about 10 points of the actual low in the S&P, weren't you? Really close to that?
Yeah, they hit very, very nicely. The one that surprised me was the Xlk, the technology ETF, because as of a week ago, we had like another 10% to go to the downside. I said, geez, are we going to make that by next week? Because the other ones were really close. And sure enough, Xlk, boom, I mean, it fell right on its little tushy and came down into the projection box.
We have a question from one of our listeners right now, Peter, and do you see a possibility of us making new highs in the stock market this year?
I'm the type of guy when it comes to the market, Larry, that would very seldom, if ever, say, no, it's impossible, we can't do it. I would say that there is a very outside chance of going to new highs. It depends very much on what we see happening from here, because I'm convinced we're at some kind of bottom here. I don't think it's an important bottom. I think it's a bottom, not anywhere near the bottom that we're going to see. But because we're at a bottom and we're not huge amounts away from the S&P all-time high, I can't rule out another try for the all-time highs, but I would put the odds of that at only about 10%.
Wow, 10% is pretty good. Peter, I have a memory of you going back about 30 years ago in New York City. You were giving a speech at the Money Show, and in that room you picked out two people in the room on different birthdays. which is the birthday of each month. One person picked a 17, I believe. The other person picked a 30. And you went through the Fibonacci sequence of how you took two random numbers. And after going through, 8 iterations, you come out with 0.618. I mean, we've been studying this stuff together since 1969 or 70, and I had never seen that done. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So,
that's the thing that I was most impressed with a Fibonacci ratio when I realized that you can start with any two numbers. It doesn't make a difference. You go through about 4 or 5 iterations and you got your 0.618 and 1.618 interrelationship. It's amazing.
Yeah, it certainly is. Now, one other question someone's asking is, I do a little bit of some of the Astro Cycles, real simple stuff. But have you ever, because I know you did a lot of work at the Foundation for the Study of Cycles many, many years ago. I mean, this is going back 50 years. I think when Mr., I can't even remember his name right now, Gertrude Shirk, but I can't think of the real guy's name. What is his name? They run the foundation for those. I'll remember it in a minute. But did you do anything at all with the cycle work related to lunar cycles or anything, much like Chris Carolyn did?
Once in a while, someone will call to my attention a particular lunar configuration or something like that. But it's interesting. When I did, I know you remember it, but very few of your viewers who are under 50 years old will remember it. Remember the old Louis Rukeyser show, Wall Street?
Oh, my gosh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, I did that show way back in '86, and Louis said to me, Peter, you're always talking about these cycles. He says, do you have any reason behind them? What can you say was the cause of these cycles? And I said, Louis, I don't pretend to know, but if I had to guess, I would say astronomical configurations. I carefully weeded out the astronomical from astrological. I wasn't putting astrological down. I was just saying that in my mind, because of the fixed periods that are involved with all these, all these configurations and movements in our outer world, that was the only thing I could think of that had that kind of synchronicity that would perhaps have effect on human behavior. So I'm very much a believer in those possibilities, but I've never really done any serious astrological work. I've counted on guys like you and Arch Crawford to take me through those.
Well, I have to go with Arch on that. I'm on your camp. I'm not skeptical. I know that's where I think the answer is, but I don't understand enough. I remember that Louis Rukeyser show because you remember a guy named George Lindsay. He was George an astrology Lindsay guy who was a regular on that show, and he actually
bottom. I know that.
Yeah, and not only that, but you know that he died on August the 25th of 1987 at the high of the market on that day.
Get out of here!
I swear to God, he died on October the 25th, 1987. I checked it with Arch just to be sure.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. Larry,
hey!
That's amazing.
Put my feet to the fire on that one. I've checked it a couple times, but yeah, he died on August the 27th of 1987, right on the high. Hey, let's take a break. We'll be right back with Peter Leides, folks.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the opening call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, we're back, folks, speaking with Peter Leides. And Peter, I understand we're having some trouble getting your charts into Skype. Is that correct?
I didn't hear that. I'm not aware of that problem.
Are you able to post them into Skype, the charts that we were going to be talking about today?
I thought what we would do, if we can do it, I tried it last week with Alan, a test procedure was to switch to my screen. You know,
okay, let's see if we can do that, and I'd like to let the folks see what you have because you do some of the greatest chart works, folks. Peter has a hand posted Dow Jones chart, going back to what, 1955 or something, Peter? When did you start that?
Well, you know, I know I'm going to break your heart when I say this, Larry, but I don't do that chart anymore. But when I was doing it actively, it was a chart that would literally unwrap. Well, there were 2 charts that unwrapped almost across the floor completely. One of them was the Foundation for the Study of Cycles data that went back to, I think, 1789. That one went all the way across my, at that time,
I remember
about 25 or 30 feet as I unrolled it. The other one was a hand. I started with old Wall Street Journal charts, the second chart that I did by hand. And they would have these little charts that they put in the paper every day, and I would just cut them out and add it on and add it on and add it on. That one probably only got to be about 12 or 15 feet long, but yeah,
I remember the last time I saw it, it looked like a Torah because you had it rolled in with a scroll with it. It was really, really incredible. That was really something. Well, what we'll do is one of these days we'll get you back on to show you some of these charts. Now, Peter, we're having a rally here, and I know you can't tell us where you think it's going to go, but as a guess, you know, taking a swag, you know, sophisticated, wild guess, where do you think we'll rally to? A 61% retracement? Hold it. They're saying they can see your screen share now, so why don't you go ahead and tell us what you're looking at?
Okay, can you see this screen currently that we're looking at now?
I think we'll. I still think I think I should be. I think we'll be able to do that. Hold on. I think so. Yeah, they say that they can see it. So go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So let's look at a couple of things. I don't know. I have this one up because I talked to you about the Xlk Technology Etf. This is new software. When I say new, Larry, I've been working for 25 to 30 years to try to get software written with my type of analysis. It's obviously initially Hearst work, J.M. Hearst.
Sure.
But I finally got my software written. The big trick was I did fractional offsets. And so anyone can do a moving average offset, but to make them fractional was very difficult. And so I ended up being able to do it. This is let me talk about the two offsets that are on the screen now. This is a 39-week offset, but I've translated into a monthly offset of 9 weeks. And it's universally applicable. I mean, it should work with virtually any numerically based chart that you use, whatever the market might be, Bitcoin or in this case XLK. So the reason I have this chart up now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the Dow because more people are acquainted with that. Let me bring the Dow up and take a look at that. Okay, this is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and we have a downside projection. We came down to almost exactly what I do with my price projections, Larry, is I'll have a target. It's the way Hearst did it, plus or minus 10% for a margin of error. Well, the Dow came down almost exactly to its target, a little bit beneath it, but well within the projection window. Now, the problem now for the bearish case is that over the very short term, we cannot get lower projections. I have a second offset that I'm showing, which is the next longer offset involved to get a projection. And currently that offset is way down around the 26,000 level on the Dow. In fact, it's a double offset, 26 and 23. So there's no way, at least in my theory, that we can get significantly lower projections in this move to the downside. What we can do is get ourselves a good rally to the upside and then come down again and start getting lower projections. Okay, so as to your question, where do we go? Well, I would do the same thing that I think you and most cycle people and people who are involved with Fibonacci would do at this point if someone asked me. I'd say, well, what we look for is a 382 or a 50% or a 618 retracement. And so that's the first thing I'd say. But when we start getting a move to the upside, I'm going to start getting projections. In fact, as we speak, let's have a little fun here, and I'll show one of my short-term projection charts and see if we have any upside projections. This is going to look like a real mishmash to a lot of people because what we're looking at isn't exactly here, but we're getting on the, let me bring the S&P up here because that's what most people look at. I'm going to bring up the S&P future contract at ES, and we're going to be looking at a 45-minute Globex chart. So it's almost 24 hours a day trading. I have an initial projection, now this is not confirmed yet, on the Globex for at ES, up to 41.16. So that's a pretty good projection. It's 100 points higher than we are now. But that is not a confirmed projection yet because I have, can you see my screen, Larry, or is it just
Yes, it's perfect. I can see the mouse and everything. Yeah, it's working out great.
Okay, great. So let me, I have what I call a web chart. Let me show the web chart because that gives a clearer picture of what we're looking at here. So I'll show you the web chart of this chart right down here and zoom in on it. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. This is what I call the continuum, and this is the space in between the two offsets. When you get into that continuum, it gives a preliminary upside projection, and here it is right here. Okay, that's the one I just gave you at 41.16. We need to get above the upper side of the continuum to confirm that projection. And once the projection is confirmed, then you have a projection that will encompass the move through here and the move above the continuum here. Let me see if I can do a shorter offset to show you a projection that's already been given and met. That should be fun. Let's see how this one turns out. Okay. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I went the wrong way. I should have gone lower.
Peter, did you ever think in a million years you'd be able to do this from your home computer when we started doing these by hand? Back in the 60s?
Forget about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. Okay, now you can see this chart. So
yes, perfect.
This is a shorter offset. What happens is when we got to this bar right here, we got this projection. See the little green rectangle here?
Yeah.
That's the projection to the upside. So.
Okay. Peter, we got to pay a few bills. Few bills. We'll be right back with Peter Leides, folks. Stay with us. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN has just launched their new trading room, the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. And now they are expanding their reach with the Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. In the Tiger's Den, you can look over the shoulders of Tom O'Brien and the other TFNN hosts while they analyze charts during their live Tiger TV programs, and join an interactive trading community with hundreds of members exchanging ideas. Interact with other tigers and tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day, even at night and on the weekends. The Tiger's Den at Discord is accessible on mobile or tablets as well, so it's always at your reach. To sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders, just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, speaking with Peter Leides. You want to continue, Peter?
Yes. Here we are. This is a shorter offset than the one I showed you with the current initial projection. So what happens is when we get a crossing of both the lines, as happened on this bar right here, we get this projection. Do we want to know exactly what it is? We click on the little rectangular area, and it tells us there's a projection up to between 39.50 and 39.72 and change. Now, mind you, this is as I told you, look at the upper left here, it's a 45-minute at-ES chart, so it's a continuation chart, including Globex, okay? So once you get into this projection area up here, let's say to at least the 39.50 area, then you go to the next longer offset. That's the one we looked at, which would be this one right here, 28 to 32 rounded off. And that's the one that is currently giving us this. Oh, no. This is, look at this one. This is, wow, I didn't see this one. This is an interim. This projection, Larry, was given right back here, okay? So when you got into this bar right here, you knew with a pretty good degree of confidence that you were going to get up to this rectangular area. So you ask, well, when you say a degree of confidence, Peter, what degree of confidence? Well, we right-click on these lines, and guess what pops up? A little statistics box, and that statistics box tells us exactly how many projections were given and how many were met. Total projections, 53, 41 of them were met for 77%. The upsides, 70%. The downsides, 84.6 of downside projections were met. So you know immediately if you're trading, we're talking about really good percentages here, okay? So this projection was given way back here, and it was just recently met. And this looks like the opening daytime bar this morning. We got into it. So when you get up to this level, the lower side of which is 40.1725, we go to the next longer offset. And I think that's the one that we initially showed you, which has a preliminary projection. Let's look at this. Yeah. See, that's this one here. If we can get above both of these offsets, we will confirm this upside projection to 40.8675. Wow. It's just a marvelous piece of software, and it shows you how the market works.
Peter, I've been doing this for a long time, not quite as long as you, but I've never seen anything this sophisticated. Honest to God, I haven't. It's really spectacular. I can see why you want to get it automated, because it's certainly got some great information. And when those lines crossed, it's just been straight up. So my hat's off to you on this. I hope you can continue doing it, because it's really informative.
Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that.
Okay, we have a question for one of our listeners, and could you describe the red and blue lines that you have there? He was asking, what do you mean? You can see I can see the thing that looks like a Bollinger Band, but what are the red and blue lines in between? Is what he's asking.
Okay, let me go to a daily offset, and that'll be easier to describe what we're looking at. Okay, so this is a daily chart of the NDX. There's a lot of other stuff I have on here, like Fibonacci things and whatever, but the place to concentrate is on these lines. What these lines represent are offsets. I wish I had prepared, and I'm not ready to show it to you, although let me tell the viewer this. If he will go to YouTube and put in Eliades and sine wave analysis, I think that will bring up the YouTube video that describes in detail what these lines are all about and what they're used for, and how they interrelate, how they relate with the market. Basically what they are is half spans of cycles.
Oh, yeah.
If you put a half span of a cycle in, as the market goes through that to the downside and to the upside, it measures what the full cycle will bring you to in terms of price. So that's basically what these lines represent. Now, the reason I use two of them, and not all people who do the Hearst work use two of them, is I discovered when I did all my work with the Hearst work that we need to assign a range to those offsets. So these lines represent that range. And when I go to that other chart that I showed you, notice, for example, on this chart, there's space between the red and blue lines, okay? At this point, there is no space between them. They're right on top of each other. So the way I get a clearer picture of that is I go to show web chart, and then I bring up my web chart, and this is what it looks like. Notice there are times when there's big distances between the lines. That's what I call the continuum, this gray area. So this continuum shows you what you have to do to get above and below these lines. Currently, as this is coming down, now this is the daily chart of the NDX, remember. This is what we need to do to get lower projections on the NDX. The problem is I have no shorter cycle that brings us down to these levels to get a lower projection. Now later on, probably in the next, in the NDX at least, in the next month or two, we should have the ability to come down to this level again, and then we can start getting significantly lower projections. But right now, I don't have any lower projections to give. We've met basically all of them to the downside.
Yeah, I can see that. It's really good to see this Hurst stuff. I don't know if you know this, Peter, but Jim Hurst was my customer when I was at Drexel.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was a trout fisherman. He ended up, when he retired, he moved up to Nevada City, and it was Nevada City, and what's the other part of? There's two cities together, and he fished up there with another customer of mine. Oh my goodness! I lost my train of thought here. Cheyenne Bodie. What was Cheyenne Bodie's name? Golly gee, he's the great athlete. He was my neighbor in Westlake Village, for God's sake, and I can't remember it offhand. Clint Walker.
I would not give him any other name. I think Cheyenne Bodie's.
Yeah, Cheyenne. Well, Clint Walker was his real name, and he lived in Westlake Village, and his daughter babysat for my kids, and I met him and Jim Hurst all at the same time, and so it was a lot of fun.
That's great. Yeah, very few people have a recollection of meeting J.M. Hurst. There's a gentleman, I forget his name, Ed. Oh, what the heck's his name? He has this. He does investment books. And
Ed Dobson. I was the one that put them together. I put him Hurst together to do the cycle thing, that 6-hour course, and they sold quite a few of them, and it was a great course to learn the Hurst material and stuff. But it was pretty. Remember, this was revolutionary stuff back in 1970 and 71 when he wrote that book. I mean, there was virtually nothing available on this stuff. It really wasn't, other than the Foundation for the Study of Cycles, and that stuff was all private. So it was not easy to get to.
No, absolutely right. You know what I wanted to show you? I want to share this with you, Larry. Do you ever use, or are you acquainted with speed resistance lines?
I'm acquainted with them. I don't use them anymore because I couldn't get the accuracy that I wanted with them, but I know they have some applicability because, some of these folks that are really, Chris Carolyn is really, really good at it. And Paul Tudor Jones has some people that work with the speed resistance lines also, but I frankly don't do it. Hey, stay with us, Peter. We got to pay another bill. Please, this is real interesting, folks. Great. We'll be right back to talk about speed resistance lines with Peter Leides, folks.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Okay, we're back, folks, speaking with Peter Leides about speed resistance lines. You want to go ahead, Peter?
Okay, this is how they work. I know you know this, Larry, but I'm going to go over this to folks that are watching. This is a chart of the NDX, okay? And actually, what I have to do is change the scale here because I have a logarithmic scale on, and I don't want it to be logarithmic. So if I go to time frame, customize, scaling, and linear instead of semi-log. Okay, there we go. Now, here's the theory behind speed resistance lines, and this is, again, an Edson Gould invention, I believe. You go to any bottom and any top, or vice versa, any top to bottom if you're coming down. You start with the low, and because, as you said, well, my God, what computers do for us nowadays, this is all automated. I click here on this low, then I click on this high. Okay, now, these are called speed resistance lines. They're not like trend lines. If you can have a little break of them, but usually if it's just a little break, you're in the area where there should be resistance. And as you can see, this is the NDX. This is the 2020 bottom down here. Here's the 2021 November 22nd high. And so you draw the speed resistance lines, and that tells us, okay, there should be resistance to a decline right here. And indeed, we came down to that level. One bar got underneath, but then we, like a trend line, you broke it by probably a pretty good amount and you rallied back to it. Now we're coming down to the area where I think eventually this line is going to be met. As I said, I think this is going to be a low for a while, but we'll come down to this line, probably find some resistance at this line. When we break this line, the message is you're going all the way back to this low. Okay, so that's quickly the theory. Let me show you. These are called 1/3, 2/3 speed resistance line. Here's the reason why. Here's the low, here's the high. So then you draw a line vertically down from the high to the low, and you break it into thirds. Okay, break that line into thirds. So you draw a line from the low through the first 1/3 down, 2/3 down. Now that I've shown you this theory, let me show you like a 5-minute chart. You say, well, how do you trade this? Well, you can see it looks pretty messy, but notice a few things here. There were speed resistance lines coming into the low. This is the low that we've seen in the past day or two, okay? As those speed resistance lines are met and you start to rally, you should start to find resistance. Well, look what happened. This is going back to 2 prior highs. You could see there was strong resistance in this area, and that was the high. Notice that the few bars got above it, but there's very little space in between them here, breathing space. They came down, they came up to the lines again. As long as they don't make a new high, you keep this bottom area remains the same. And notice here where we broke into the clear right here. That shows you won't meet resistance till you get to these red lines right here. Okay, and indeed we met resistance right there. We met resistance a little bit above them, back down to them in a test, and now we've broken above them, and that's telling us you should get back to these old highs.
Wow,
I know that's a very quick run through, and I hope I didn't confuse people.
Oh, no. Gee, this is just really revealing to me. This is just really sets it up really quite nice.
Yeah, they're fabulous tools. They really are. I love them. And I just got reacquainted with them recently, the last 4 or 5 months. I said, let me look at it. Now, I mean, we have the tools to do them so easily now. Let me look at it. And I was very, very impressed with them, Larry. I really was.
Yeah. Peter, what is the program that you're using to have all this material in it? What is that? What is this program?
This is TradeStation.
Oh, TradeStation. Okay. All right, fine. Very good. Boy, it's got a lot of stuff in it to use, that's for sure. My goodness. Okay, any others you got to show us?
Let's see. What can we show that's of interest? Well, let's look at that. This is a real interesting one because this is a monthly chart. Again, this is with, we had the 9-month offset on there. I believe it's this chart right here. There we go. I'm going to show you the Wilshire 5000. Very few people look at that, and I must admit that I don't do too much work with it. But the Wilshire 5000 represents every actively traded stock in the United States. DWCF, okay? And watch the projection on this one. This is really eye-boggling, Larry. Watch this. Here's the downside projection. Look what we came down to yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And look where we are today.
That's a DWCF?
DWCF is my symbol. I don't know if that's a universal one, but that's my symbol.
That should be close, yeah, okay.
Wilshire 5000 composite. Every actively traded stock in the United States.
Now, is that index traded?
I'm not sure if it is or not. I must say that I don't
know if it is either, but I've never traded. I've looked at it a few times. You know, I'm not familiar with it. So some pretty smart people out there will probably tell us, but I don't know if it is or not. But it's certainly revealing here when it hits that exact number.
Let's see. Here's our problem currently, and that is the next longer offset, which is this one right here, is a 100 to 110 week offset, the equivalent of that in months. And look how far below us this is. So this is telling you cannot get lower projections now. We just can't get any until we do something to the upside and come back down again. Now, do I have a guarantee involved with this? No, sorry, folks, no. If we're down here, if we're
this will be the
here,
last time you'll be on our show.
There you go. If we're down here in the next couple of weeks and some guy comes back and says, Allides told me that we couldn't go any lower, so I mortgaged my wife and children and the house and everything. And look where we are.
Yeah, I've been to that dance before many times, unfortunately, that's for sure. Well, listen, I'm going to have you back on in a few weeks if you don't mind. This is really revealing stuff, Peter. I mean, I tell you, and I've been around seeing a lot of things. I've been familiar with this stuff in the past, but frankly, I haven't used it. And watching you use it so easily, it's really incredible. And your projection was spot on. I know we have a lot of the folks here at TFNN been watching your YouTubes, getting ready to see you come on the show today. And your projection was spot on for yesterday. So hats off to you, my friend. I hope you made a couple of shekels on it. So, by the way, I want to send my regards to Mr. Eddie Horowitz from you. He said to say hello to you. And Eddie was Peter's neighbor there in the Hollywood Hills when I first met these dudes back in the 60s. So, goes back a long time.
Yeah, Eddie and I go back a long time. When we met in a condo in Hollywood, And the reason we met was either I or Eddie, I don't remember which one of us, put up a sign in the elevator saying, anyone else interested in stocks and wants to share a quote machine, please notify me. So that's how we got together, and we've been real good friends ever since.
Yeah, I remember very. He was across the hall from you, as I recall. Correct?
Yeah, we were on the same floor, 2260 Cahuenga Boulevard.
Yeah, I remember. Hey, Peter, thanks for joining us, my friend, and stay safe, and may God bless.
Larry, have people go to my website.
Hey, tell us what it is, please.
StockMarketCycles.com. There are free trials to the software and the videos.
StockMarketCycles.com. You got it.
Yep.
We'll do it. Thank you, buddy. We'll see you later.
Okay, Larry.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
With market volatility roaring back in April, Larry Pesavento has just announced a 5-hour live trading webinar coming up on May 17th. Larry Pesavento is a 56-year trading veteran and has mastered his trading skills through many different market fluctuations. Join Larry on May 17th as he hosts a live 5-hour trading webinar from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time, giving you insight into how he analyzes the market and decides his plays. Larry will delve deep into the ABCD trading pattern, explaining how to structure your trading day, the times most likely to generate signals, which signals to ignore, and how to use the pattern to mitigate risk. In this all-day 5-hour live trading webinar, take a seat by Larry's side as he trades the markets real time, including the Dow and S&P 500E mini, crude oil, natural gas, gold, treasury bonds, wheat and soybeans, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen, and more. If you've ever wanted to get inside the mind of a market master, you cannot miss this live trading webinar. To sign up today, just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, I want to bring to your attention here a chart that was sent to us by our good friend Action Jackson from Disco Tech out there on the East Coast, and he had a problem today with crude oil. He had a stop in, and there was a bad tick. And I told Jack, I said, that should not happen. I mean, I know the price hit that level, but there were no trades down in that area. He should ask for time and trades on that because that is probably an electronic thing that triggered, but there were no trades at that level. So when you see a spike like that, especially in crude oil, a market that is that huge, there's a problem there. So make sure you go to time and sales and get it corrected. And I'm going to give you a couple of numbers here that were interesting interesting because I listened to what Peter was saying, but we have a 382 retracement coming in here to the NASDAQ, folks, here in about 25 points up here at 12,397. Watch that number because that's a 382 off of the March 4th low high. So that's very important, and I think we're going to get above it easily because of the strength that we have coming off of that big ABCD. And another one that has been extremely good to us, and that is the euro. We're short that from 3 different levels, and right now what we're waiting for is a 382 coming into the euro versus the dollar. We went down and made a lower low than yesterday by 1 tick. And, of course, it being, Treskai decaphobia, Friday the 13th, we certainly have a little reversal there. But we've got a 382 coming in on the euro at 104.371. That's only about 30-some pips from where we are right now. Those we'll probably be able to look at them on Monday. I'll cover those in the newsletter. And also, if you get a chance to subscribe to our day trading 5 hours, I'd certainly love to have you. I'm going to do one other one in November for sure, late November, early December. I'll do one more because people that if we don't make money on this one, we've made money in the other 3, but if we don't make money on this one, we'll give you a free pass into the next one that we do. But so far, we've been fortunate enough with this kind of volatility and all these ABCDs, we got a good chance. Hey, we'll see you all Monday, folks. May God bless.